Hello guys, this is Vaish. So day 9 of the 625 MCQ series. So hopefully you are watching all the episodes because every question has a high chance that it can be asked in the future prelims 2021 and 22 because many topics are picked up from previous year papers, many topics are picked up from the standard textbooks, NCRTs, and it's fully oriented for your UPSC prelims. Okay, so if you don't watch or if you skip certain episodes, then you will regret it after the exam. Okay, and the various other playlists have been increased now because the prelims is nearing. The polity revision quiz is going on. Environment, one by one biospheres, Ramsar sites, everything is being discussed. Geography, NCRTs, all textbooks are being discussed in English and in Hindi also. We are going to start it soon. The Nitin Singhania lecture is there. Fine arts lecture is there. Everything is prelims oriented. Okay, then my motivational series is going on where I'll tell you tricks to clear this exam easily. So please watch that also. Then here if you see post independence is there, society is there, ethics is there. These are all the mains lectures that if you want to watch it later after prelims, that is also fine. But if you have enough time, because every video is like 20 minutes or 25 minutes only, so if you can watch that in your lunch time or anything, it will help you gain knowledge now, so that immediately when you clear the prelims, you thoroughly know what is there to prepare and what is the depth of lectures which we are already providing. Okay, so watch this. This is another history playlist, ancient history full, you can revise, and I'm guaranteeing you that any question which comes in prelims will be somewhere here. Okay, either in my test or in this video series, it should be there. Okay, then geography mini series is there in Hindi. Sorry, any Hindi. Then here other news related topics are also there, and quizzes are going on continuously. So subscribe also so that we keep giving you such lectures. And this score, please try to maintain a score above 15 because only then you will be able to clear the prelims. Now this first question about the bills. Okay, private bill and public bill. So the government bills, that is a public bill, can be introduced and discussed on any day, but private member bills can be introduced and discussed only on Fridays. Okay, and I think it is on alternate Fridays. So the introduction of a public bill in the House requires 1 month notice, while the introduction of a private bill in the House require 3 month notice. Okay, so here actually this one is wrong. It is actually 1 month notice for private, and here it's only 7 days. So answer this is wrong. Okay, second statement is wrong, and the first one is actually correct. Okay, they did not ask specifically which Friday and all. It is told Friday, so it is correct. I think alternate Fridays they do. So here answer should be one only, but in this there is a typo in the this thing. So whoever has got the PDF, it's not two only, it is one only. Okay, because it's asking for correct differences. If it was asking for incorrect, it will be two only. So I've explained you both the statements, and detailing are there. And this in 2000, I think 17 or 18, a detailed question came like private bill was passed recently, something like that. But that is wrong because only 14 private bills have been passed. Private bill means something which the minister doesn't introduce. Okay, something like any other MP introduced, that is the private bill. So only 14 such bills are there since 1956, and the last one was passed around 1970. That is why UPSC asked. And here if you see other things are there. Okay, other famous private bills which got successfully passed. Okay, if you see 1956, 1967, it's all very old. Okay, then differences, if you see differences what asked in the question. So if you see here, mostly alternate Friday, and here it is 7 days and 1 month, not 1 month and 3 month. Okay, and public bill is introduced by a minister. Private bill can be introduced by any member. Public bill reflects the policies of the government, that is the ruling party, while private bill reflects the mood of the political party on the public matter. Public bill has a greater chance to be passed by parliament. Private bill is less likely to be passed. Public bill rejection in the lower house may lead to the resignation of the while cabinet, while private bill rejection by the house, no implication. Public bill has to be, can be drafted by this concerned department and all, they will do it. But the private bill, that member whoever is bringing the bill, it is his responsibility. Okay, then again if you see, recently the members of parliament has demanded for consideration of private member bills on Wednesdays instead of Friday. It has been observed that most of the members of the parliament as well as prime minister are found absent on Fridays. Okay, so that is the reason. Up to 1997, private members could introduce up to 3 bills in a week. This led to piling up of bills that were introduced but never discussed. So Chairman R.K. Narayan therefore capped the number of private member bills to 3 per session. Okay, that full session only 3 should be there. So this kind of thing in every newspaper it's given, and UPSC have asked question on this, and that is where you have to focus more. Okay, I've told you in my video on hard work or smart work, like how will you understand what to study and what not to study. Now, which are the following are features of National Food Security Act? Again, a very important act of which every year question comes. So the work of identification of eligible household is to be done by Niti Aayog. This is wrong because that is done by states. Then there is a provision for food security allowance to entitled beneficiaries in case of non-supply of entitled food grains or meals. Okay, so there is such provision, so that is true. Then in case any state allocation under the act is lower than their current allocation, it will be protected up to level of average offtake during the last 3 years, and prices to be determined by the central government. This everything is true. Okay, even though many keywords are there which you have to notice, everything is true. Okay, so answer should be 2, 3 only, and that detailed clauses are given here. Okay, whatever is in red is one put in question. Remaining you have to study. Okay, the coverage is given here. Okay, up to 75% of the rural population and 50% of the urban population. Okay, that will be covered under this targeted public distribution scheme with uniform entitlement of 5 kg per person per month. Okay, this is important, 5 kg per person per month. However, since this Antyodaya Anna Yojana household constitute poorest of the poor, are presently entitled to 35 kilogram per household per month. Okay, so here if you see it's 5 kilo per person. Here it is 35 kilo per household. Okay, both are per month only, but you see per person and per household. So understand that. And if you see state-wise coverage, again as I told, 75% of rural and 50% of urban. So total around 60%. Okay, total around two-third people will get it. And again, it will be determined by the central government, the coverage. And Planning Commission has determined the state-wise coverage by using this NSS household consumption subsidized prices under this. Okay, if you see the prices, 3 kilo, 2 kilo, 1 kilo for rice, wheat and coarse grain. Okay, respectively, 3 for rice, 2 for wheat and 1 for coarse grains. Then here if you see there's the same thing in question, and here the prices, these are all done by HUT because it will keep changing. Identification of household is done by states or UTs. The nutritional support for women and children is there. Okay, children, there again more questions I'll show you about ICDS today itself. In that you will know how much calories of food each people or each category of people will get. Then maternity benefit is there, and women empowerment, because eldest women of the household of 18 years or above, they are considered the head of the household in issuing of ration cards. Okay, and if you see eldest girl is not 18 years and above, then it will be eldest male will be treated till she attain 18 years. Such things are there, such clauses. Then rival redressal is there for every scheme nowadays. And then this is intra-state transportation and the cost and all, transparency, allowance, then penalty it will be there if it is not complying with the standards. So this everything is important. Okay, UPSC can pick up any clause, and they are asking also since 2016 various act and bills are being asked with their clauses. Now again this one, in accordance to nutritional standards under this integrated child development services scheme and midday meal scheme, which among the following beneficiary gets the highest calorie count in their hot cooked meal or the take home ration? Some will get hot cooked meal, some will get take home ration. So who gets the highest calorie? Is it all gets the same, or is it lower primary class, or it pregnant women and lactating mothers, or is it children who is like 6 months to 6 years old who are malnourished? So here the keyword is malnourished. Those who are malnourished, they are going to get the highest calorie. So that if you knew, answer was very easy. Okay, and here this table if you see, it's again picked up from their government document only. So here they get 800 calories and this much 20 to 25 gram of protein. Okay, but others if you see it's little lesser. So that kind of questions also can be asked if UPSC want to trouble you. Okay, so we have always gone one step ahead of UPSC. That is why our test series are loved by thousands of students across the country. Okay, so please see to it that you enroll at least next year in case you couldn't make this time. It's totally fine that you fail in UPSC, but you should not repeat the same mistake which you did. Okay, spending lakhs of rupees or buying brand doesn't mean you are at the right place. Okay, you have to see which institute is giving you the closest MCQs to UPSC. Okay. Now, which of the venues of WTO ministerial conference? You know, WTO conference happens generally every 2 years. So that places, okay, these are places where it was held in different years. So it's just a massive following, where it is present. Nairobi, Kenya, I think most of you will know. Doha, Qatar also you will know. Football World Cup is going to happen. So 2 and 4 is definitely true, and that is the answer also. Okay, because Cancun is in, I think, Mexico, and this Nur Sultan is the latest place where I think Kazakhstan. Okay, so here if you see 2 and 4, and if you see these are the full thing, first one was in Singapore in 96, then 98, 99. So every time it will not be 2 years, but generally it is 2 years. Okay, 2001, 2003, 2005, again here 2009, then 2011, 13, 15, 17. After the 2019, the 12th conference was supposed to happen in 2019. Okay, but because of COVID, it got postponed to 20 and now to 21. So you have to follow current affairs whether they are doing it or not. Okay, so this is the place names. Okay, if you see Buenos Aires, Argentina, Nairobi, Kenya, Bali, Indonesia, Geneva, Switzerland is the highest number of times. Okay, here 2 times and here 1 time. So 3 times Geneva, Switzerland has hosted it. Okay, India has never hosted it. Such pointers you have to know. Okay, so this ministerial conference is the highest decision making of the WTO. All matters of multilateral agreements are discussed here. 4th ministerial conference in 2001 approved China's entry, okay, in WTO. So that kind of very factual things I have underlined. Okay, here the Doha development round was there, and then about progress of all the nations, whether they are developed country, whether they are developing country. Then this Bali ministerial conference is very important. From that, lot of questions used to come. So that is not in separate economics test and international body test you will get it, but this is just a general question. Okay, then this TRIPS is there. Okay, this is for intellectual property right. Same like that for goods, another is there. For service, another is there. See here, Uruguay round or the general agreement on tariffs and trade. Okay, then here if you see GAT, after that it is having successor WTO. Okay, and full links are given, so my students can read from this PDF. Now again, this was asked by UPSC once. Who among the following are participants to Asian Regional Forum? Okay, but not part of the proposed RCP. You know, proposed RCP, you know, ASEAN plus 6 countries. is the proposed RCP, but now India has gone out, so it's ASEAN plus 5. So now ASEAN Regional Forum, there's something like this. So they're asking which are participants of this, but not this. That means you have to eliminate whatever is the proposed RCP. So this India, China, Japan was there in the proposed RCP. Then here, if you see Australia, New Zealand, South Korea was there in the proposed RCP. These are the 6 countries along with ASEAN wanted to make the RCP. Now, but only 5 joined, but they're asking anyway proposed. So India is also there. Okay. So 6 countries you have to eliminate anyway. So that if you eliminate itself, you have to eliminate 3 and 8. Okay, but still you cannot get the answer. So here if you see, answer is actually this one, because everything, all these countries, I think here 17 countries are there. These 17 countries plus the 10 ASEAN countries is called this ASEAN Regional Forum. Okay, I'll write it here. This is 10, this is 17. So total 27 countries are there. Okay, so out of that, 6 of them are part of RCP also. So that is why that has to be eliminated, and you will get the answer 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 and 8 we eliminated because they are part of RCP also. Okay, so here if you see ASEAN members. Okay, this also if you want to have a trick. Okay, it is BPL TV mimics. Okay, this is actually this one. 10 countries of ASEAN, BPL TV mimics. If you study it once, then it is always registered in your mind. And proposed RCP is that BPL TV mimics plus this 6 country. But India is not joining it. Okay, in proposed India is there, but in final India is not there. Then if you see, ASEAN has 10 members. I told you how the trick is. Then proposed RCP has 16 members, which I told 10 ASEAN plus 6. East Asian Summit, another thing is there, in which USA and Russia is also there. So that 10 ASEAN plus 6 of that country plus USA, Russia. So East Asian Summit. Now this ARF, in this question I asked 27 members. That is this 18 ASEAN which is there in above. 18 EAS which is in above. And this country which was there in your options in this question. Okay, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, North Korea, Canada, Mongolia, EU, Papua New Guinea, East Timor. This total is the easiest way for 4 groupings you studied with one question. Okay. And again, more details are given here, like where they meet. Taiwan has been excluded from that. Then here, ASEAN Europe meetings are there during the same time. ASEAN also hold its meeting. Okay. Then there is one ASEAN Europe Foundation. So like this, whatever is needed will be in this. Okay, will be covered in this. ASEAN 50 years completed in 2017, because in 1967 some Bangkok agreement was there. Then only ASEAN was formed. So that also is a current affair that time. Okay. Now, recently, the Parliament has passed the Minerals Law Amendment Bill 2020. Okay, so this again, lot of mineral questions I'll show you, because last year or previous year UPSC asked like gold is found here, silver is found here, copper is found here. That kind of statements will come. Okay, so here if you see, the bill clarifies that the companies need to possess any prior need not possess any prior coal mining experience in India in order to participate in the auction of coal and lignite block. That is actually true. You need not possess any prior experience. The bill provides that prior approval of the central government will not be required by the state government in granting license for coal and lignite. This also is done as of ease of doing business and all. These two are there. Okay. Now the bill prohibits the state government from taking advance action for auction of a mining lease before its expiry. This prohibits is actually wrong. Actually, bill is enabling it. Okay. So answer is 1, 2. So like this, read the statements, and if you know now the government's policies are all to make more state government participate, more private sector participate. So never this kind of prohibit will be there in new bill clauses. Okay. So like that is a common sense. If you did not even study, you could have answered it. Okay. So here answer will be 1, 2 only. Okay. So here again, full clauses. Okay, that bill, whatever clauses is taken from the PRS website only, where every bill will be there. So here just pause and see, because I cannot read that much explanations there. So here 8 points, and here 4 more points. So 12 points, whatever you see. If you want, take screenshot. If you are not a student of ICIS, else you have the PDF already with you. Okay, so I hope this is clear. It's a straightforward bill and clauses question. Okay, so you will see it will enable, in this statement you can see, it will enable the state government. Now, GI products, again UPSC's favorite topic. So here if you see, Bastar Dhokra, Feni and Sankheda furniture. So Feni, 90% of you know, especially boys will know that it is in Goa. So if you cancel 2, okay, Feni is a drink, okay, it's a liquor drink. So if you cut that, it's from Goa, it's not Tripura. So you will get 3 only or 1 3 only. That means Sankheda furniture is that. Now Bastar Dhokra, by the name, maybe you will think it's Jammu and Kashmir, but it is not. Okay, so it is, I think, Chhattisgarh. So if you see, it is 3 only. So here if you see, Chhattisgarh products are Bastar Dhokra. Okay, it's a lost wax technique. Then Bastar wooden. So Bastar, whenever you see, it's Chhattisgarh. Okay, Bastar iron craft. Then this Champa Kosa silk. Then this Jira full rice. Okay, these are all Chhattisgarh. Then Goa, as I told, Feni liquor and Kola chili. Okay, 1 chili and 1 liquor. And if you see Gujarat, the Sankheda furniture is there. Then Surat. These are all place names, so it's very easy. Surat, Sari craft, Jamnagari, Bandhani. Then this ancient ornamental is there. Then Petapur printing blocks, Rajkot, Patola, Kutch embroidery, Patan, Patola, Kutch shawl, and here again Dangsia, Tangalia. Tangalia and all is there in your NCRT. Okay, then Gir, Kesar, Mango, Bhalia wheat. So these are all Gujarat products. And here Jammu and Kashmir products is Kashmir, Pashmina, shawl, many handicrafts and wooden works, that kind of thing will be there. Okay, then saffron is there, Zozani craft is there. Okay, so this, how much ever you can by heart, you do it because it's very difficult. But UPSC 90% will ask what is there in the current affair. Okay, then this Qn apple. Okay, that's in Tripura, which was in news last year. So like that, try to study this more and more. You revise, it will be exam helpful. Okay. Now again, which of the following are true? These are again minerals. Karnataka is the largest producer of gold in India. It should be true. Alluvial gold is obtained from the sands of the Subarnarekha river. That should be true. Alluvial and gold, both there in Subarnaka, it should be there. There are no traces of gold in Kerala's river. That is a negative statement. That is wrong. Okay, so answer should be 1, 2 only. Yeah, 1, 2 only. Okay, so here if you see, 3 major gold fields are there. You know, KGF, Kolar Gold Field, Kolar district, in Raichur district, both in Karnataka and here in Andhra also. And how gold is often liberated from the rocks and weathering process and all, that's also written here. It will be in very small quantity, but it is gold anyway. Okay, then here again the different small places inside Karnataka, and then here again small Mysore and all. These are all Karnataka districts. Okay, then here next to Kolar, where it will be in Raichur district. Then here again some very internal places, but I don't know whether it's important, but you can just glance through it. Okay, then Andhra Pradesh also, not though lagging far behind Karnataka, it is the second largest. Okay, in Kurnool district and all. Then here Jharkhand, if you see, important producer of gold. Alluvial gold is there in Subarnarekha. And here if you see Kerala, river terraces are there. So like this for every mineral, I think at least one MCQ will be there in YCIS. So you will know the location. Okay, because in mains it is a very important topic in GS1, the location of resources. Okay. Now again, India is the largest producer of silver. That is wrong. Okay, I think Mexico is the largest producer. Then the major production of silver comes from mines of Meghalaya. That is also wrong. It comes in the western side from Rajasthan and all it comes. So answer will be neither 1 nor 2. Okay, Mexico is the largest producer, and here India is not major producer. Major comes from Zawar mines in Udaipur of Rajasthan. Okay, so again different ores are given. Silver, Argentine. Okay, from where silver comes? Okay, Argentine, Stephentine. Okay, this if UPSC asks, this is all related to silver. Okay, manufacture of chemicals, electroplating, photography, coloring glass. These are the different purposes of use also. Again, things are given. You can pause and see. Okay, Hindustan Copper Limited. Then traces of silver occur here in these districts. Jharkhand is another important producer of silver as a byproduct of lead. So as a byproduct of lead also you will get silver. Which of the following are true about Bara? About this, UPSC asked a detailed question like what material it is used for preparation and all, for construction and all. So here it was built by various rulers of the Delhi Sultanate starting from Iltutmish. Iltutmish timeline is around 13th century. That is wrong because this is a recent one. I mean 17th or 18th century only this thing came. So this is wrong. Then its basic design was inspired from the work of Amir Khusro. That is also wrong because Amir Khusro also is not of that timeline. Then it was one of the last major projects not incorporating any European elements or the use of iron. So that can be true because options if you see eliminate 1 and 2, then you are left with only 3 only. So yeah, answer is 3 only. So if you see detailing, it was built by Asafuddaulah, Nawab of Awadh in 1784. Okay, in this Lucknow. Objectives, this great project, employment of a lot of people. Then famine also was there at that time. Then 1791 it was completed and it was annually decorated. Lot of money was spent on that. Then the design was like through a competitive process. Okay, like an auction, this thing, bidding process kind of thing. Different competition kind of thing. They'll send entries and then one Delhi architect idea was chosen something. Okay, and it's made of rice husk, the roof. Then here Bul Bulaiya. Okay, inside the mosque. Then architect reflects Mughal design, Badshahi Mosque. Last major project not incorporating European element. Then this height and all is not very important, but these terms, okay, Rumi Darwaza, then 2 imposing gateways are there, western facing entrance is there. These are little factual points which in your Nitin Singhania and fine arts textbook and all it will be there. Okay, there are 1024 ways to reach the terrace, but only 2 to come back. Okay, so that's why like Bul Bulaiya and all you call. Okay, so this is the basic detail of this particular mosque. Now, which are the following are true about foreign travelers? Francois Bernier and Jean-Baptiste Tavernier. Both of them, UPSC questions came back to back in 2 years, I think 2017 and 18. So here, both lived in same century, that is true. Both were French travelers, that's also true. Both of them had visited the Mughal rulers, that's also true. Okay, so just common points I picked up and made this MCQ. So if you see here, 17th century, okay, 17th century physician. This first we'll see Bernier. So he was the personal physician of Dara Shikoh. Dara Shikoh is who? He is the eldest son of Shah Jahan, and the other son is Aurangzeb. So Aurangzeb only will kill him. Aurangzeb will kill Dara Shikoh. They'll fight with each other, and then he'll become the king. So he was the personal physician. Okay, this Bernier was a personal physician of Dara Shikoh. After his death, it was the personal physician of Aurangzeb. Okay, around 12 years they stayed, and then protection of this Daneshmand Khan. Okay, he came under the protection of this thing. He was an important official of Aurangzeb's court. Okay, Daneshmand Khan. Then there is a book written by him, New Division of the Earth by the Different Species or Races of Man that Inhabit It. Okay. Then it is considered the first published post-classical classification of humans into distinct races. Then also he wrote the Travels in Mughal Empire. This has a high chance of being asked because it's a simple name. Travels in the Mughal Empire is written by him. Okay. And he wrote about all this Aurangzeb's capital and the Mughal subjects and all. And he mentions like large halls are there. Then this karkhanas are there, that is factories were there. Then again manufacture of silk, fine muslins, turbans, gold flowers. So all these things are there. Okay, people will be like that much dresses they have, and they'll be like one night only they'll wear the same dress. So that kind of a lot of fantasy things, extra things will be there, exaggerated ones. But you have to know only what things I have highlighted in red color. Okay. And now next one, Tavernier. He's also 17th century, but he's a gem merchant and traveler. This is the exact thing UPSC asked. Okay, like who was a diamond merchant who came from France? Okay, so the answer was this Tavernier. And the other option, the Francois Bernier, was also there in option. Okay, but this is the correct answer. Okay, he visited this Golconda mine and all, where you have diamond mines. So that kind of whatever you see here. Okay, this 4 or 5 points is the only thing you need to study about this person. Okay. Now again, Kodaikanal Lake, Nainital Lake, Renuka Lake. This also UPSC asked the same thing, like which of the following is an artificial lake. So Kodaikanal is an artificial lake. That was the answer that time. So here, if you see Palani Hills is correct. This Kumaon Hills, Uttarakhand, that's also correct. And then if you see Renuka Lake and Gauligar, this doesn't match. Okay, because Gauligar Hills is near down. Okay, south. But Renuka Lake is I think in Himachal. So answer if you see 1, 2 only. So like this, you should be by heart of every question. Okay, if it's a previous year question, you have to know it. So here if you see it's a man-made lake, starfish shaped near Palani Hills. Then here if you Nainital, natural freshwater, kidney shaped. Then here Kumaon Hills, and these are other 3 lakes there, Satal Lake, Bhimtal Lake, and Nakuchitial. Okay, so whatever is the pronunciation, these lakes are important there. Then it is formed tectonically. Then Renuka Lake is in Himachal, as I told, largest lake in Himachal Pradesh. It's a natural lake and named after goddess Renuka. Annual fair is held here. It's designated as a Ramsar site also. Then this Gwalior, if you see, it's a well-fortified mountain stronghold of the Maratha Empire. So it is in the Deccan Plateau. Okay, it's not near Himachal. So that is why the third is wrong. Okay, answer is 1, 2 and 1, 2 only. This is the location. If you see, Gwalior Hills is somewhere here, but Renuka will be obviously in the north. Okay. Now again, GI products. Nirmal paintings, Cherial paintings, and Sohrai Khovar paintings. So here, if you see, this is wrong, because Cherial painting and Nirmal painting both are Telangana. Okay, so 2 you have to eliminate and you will get the answer 1, 3 only. So every time UPSC asks a match the following, it will never be answer 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's a clue I'm telling you. It will never be 1, 2, 3. One will be wrong in match the following always. So here 1, 3 only. Telangana products, this Pochampalli Ikat, then the saris, all these handlooms and these things are there. Then some silver filigree, metal craft. Adilabad, Dokra was in news. Warangal is always in news. Nirmal toys and craft, Nirmal fun, all Nirmal things are Telangana. Cherial paintings, Hyderabad Halim, this Puttapaka, Telia, Rumal. Okay, so these are all Telangana. Kerala, if you see, is the highest, I think, GI tag products. I'm not sure, but it has the highest. So this is a mirror, Aranmula Kannadi, then this Payanur Pavitra ring, Kananur home furnishing, then some pine craft, Nilambur teak. So again, if you see saris and cloth, anything you can imagine, rice or cloth or food or handloom or artifacts, everything is there. Okay, almost 90% of the things which you see in news and all of Kerala will be GI tagged. Okay, so that you can pause and see, but UPSC will not trouble you with very detailed questions. Then this painting is in Jharkhand. Okay, Jharkhand Sohrai Khovar. Now, which of the following books are matched correctly with their authors? These are very difficult ones. Just by heart this. All of them are true if I am correct. Okay, Shanti Purana Ponna, Ajita Purana Ranna. Then Nalachampu is Trivikrama and Amoghavritti is Sakatayana. Okay, just by hearting, you don't need to know anything more than this about these things. Okay, if UPSC asks, just by heart it and give the answer. Climate smart agriculture asked by UPSC in 2018, I think. It aims to fulfill the strategic objective of FAO. That is true. Global Alliance for Climate Smart Agriculture, GACSA. This only UPSC asked once. It is a voluntary and action-oriented multi-stakeholder platform on climate smart agriculture. That's also true. Okay, so UPSC asked something like India is the founding member of this something. That was wrong. So you have to know about this body. Okay, so here answers both 1 and 2. It is an approach that helps to guide actions needed to transform and reorient agricultural systems to effectively support development and ensure food security in a changing climate. It is one of the 11 corporate areas for resource mobilization under FAO's strategic objective. It is in line with FAO's vision for sustainable food and agriculture and supports FAO's goal to make agriculture, forestry, fishery more productive and more sustainable. It provides the means to help stakeholders from local to national and international level identify agriculture strategies suitable for their local condition. Okay, so climate smart agriculture means you have to suit your local condition and it should be sustainable also. So again, 3 main objectives: sustainability, adapting climate change, reducing or removing greenhouse gases wherever possible. Okay, then again, that body: inclusive, voluntary and action oriented multi-stakeholder platform, improve food security, nutrition and resilience, catalyze and help create transformational partnership to encourage actions that reflect an integrated approach to 3 pillars of CSA. Meaning, to fulfill this body was formed. Okay, this alliance was formed. And if you see, convening, connecting, communicating, meaning everyone will come together and work together. Okay, so this is the Global Alliance for Climate Smart Agriculture. Which of the following are enlisted under the Digital India Vision? So whenever this application time things comes, okay, if it's scheme or science, it can be true. All the 3 can be true. So shareable private space on a public cloud, all citizen entitlement to be portable and available on the cloud, universally accessible digital resources. Okay, these are like common sense itself you can know if you did not study also. It's all positive things, and whenever a futuristic scheme or science or something comes, it will be always true. Okay, so here Digital India program, 3 key visions: digital infrastructure, governance and digital empowerment. Okay, so you have to build the infrastructure, you need to govern it, and you have to empower the citizens to use it also. Nodal ministry will be Ministry of Electronics, and here one chart is there. So all the 3 things are picked up from these 3 only. Okay, under each thing, infrastructure, governance and empowerment, one point I took and made the question, but you have to ideally go through all of this. Okay, just pause and read this, but it will be very easy statements only. Now, which of the following are true? National e-governance plan recently completed 5 years of its launch. This is wrong because it's not recently. This is like I think from 2006 or something. This is there. Then monitoring committee on Digital India is headed by the Prime Minister. This is kind of thing which always in exam hall people get confused. Okay, the other one people will know, but this one you will not know. Actually, it is true. Okay, this one is wrong. The first one is actually okay. It's wrong. So answer will be 2 only. Yeah, 2 only. See, 2006 it was there. Then 24 mission mode projects. Considering shortcoming in national e-governance plans, okay, not very important. They approved a e-Kranti program later. Okay, again more details. Just pause and see. Okay, these are all very basic things which UPSC don't have any option to ask anything from here. Okay, management, if you see, monitoring committee headed by Prime Minister, Digital India Advisory Group chaired by Ministry of Communication and IT, Apex Committee chaired by Cabinet Secretary, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs take program level policy decisions. So this is the kind of management structure for our Digital India scheme. Okay, Prime Minister is the head of the main monitoring committee. Climate neutral now. Okay, is UPSC's favorite topic. Sometimes seen in news, is an initiative of, it is UNFCCC. Okay, UNFCCC, you know, COP conference happen every year annually. So they only started this climate neutral now in 2015. Okay, that is in the Paris summit. So it invites organizations, governments and citizens to work towards global climate neutrality by addressing their own climate footprint through a 3-step method. That is, you have to measure the greenhouse gases, also the carbon footprint, reduce them as much as possible through their own actions, compensate those which cannot be currently avoided by using UN certified emission reduction, a type of carbon credit. Okay, so carbon credit system and all you should know. UPSC already asked in detailed question. It's in Kyoto Protocol and all. If you study properly, you will know. Okay, these are generated by climate friendly projects vetted by the UNFCCC, following rules approved at intergovernmental level and with intergovernmental oversight, providing a high level of credibility. Okay, like credits are there. It's like this much you reduce, meaning you will get this much credit, or if you cannot do, then you can give a credit, like your whatever gathered credits you have, you can share with other countries also, because they are not able to currently avoid it. So that kind of, it's like a token system kind of thing. Okay, so that and all, as I told, study environment test properly, detailedly. I have taught everything. Okay, in my environment I think 400 MCQs are there. Please study that. And this is a very detailed thing about UNFCCC, International Environment Treaty. Then here individual participating countries to commit to stabilize this greenhouse gases. Around 197 parties are there. Adopted in 1992. That is when Rio Summit, the first Earth Summit or Rio Summit, 1992. Out of that only UNFCCC came. Then I think UNCCD came, and one more thing is that 2-3 bodies came out of this conference, okay, which is officially called United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. That is the first Earth Summit or Rio Summit. After 92, it happened in 2002 in Johannesburg, South Africa. Then in 2012, it again happened in Rio. That is called Rio Plus 20. So these are very, very, like, you should be by heart of all these things, okay. And the Kyoto Protocol, you know, it in 1997 it came. So that time it is legally binding. And now it is again renewed, and all after that 2020 we have the Paris Climate, okay, which is also the same thing but in a new model. 2010 in Cancun, Mexico, again they discussed about this below 2 degrees Celsius you should reduce temperature and all. Okay, Doha Amendment also came here. Okay, that is Kyoto Protocol initially was till 2012, then it became 2013 to 20. Now after 20 what we have the Paris Climate Agreement. Okay, so like that it's a chain of things. It's not like Paris Agreement suddenly came from nowhere. Okay. Now, which of the following are true about snow leopards? IUCN vulnerable, that is true, but this you have to go and verify all the time because current affair keeps changing. In India, snow leopards are found in Jammu, Himachal, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, all true, but this only is wrong because obviously there is one more big Himalayan state which we have, which is Arunachal Pradesh. So answer is 1 only. So just by reading, if you apply common sense, you will get the answers, okay, for most of the questions. So vulnerable by IUCN, schedule 1 of, whenever a protection status of any animal you study, you have to study these 4 things, okay, whether in IUCN what it has, in WPI India's Act what it has, then this CITES agreement where it, what is the position, and in CMS, migratory species, what is the position. So here we see Appendix 1 means it is the highest, Schedule 1 is the highest, meaning they are in the highest protection levels in all these things, but in IUCN it is vulnerable. It is not like critical and all, it is vulnerable, okay. So 5 states, as I told, Arunachal is also there. India occupies only 5% of the full range. Then International Snow Leopard is 23rd October. Indian missions are Project Snow Leopard, Secure Himalaya, which is funded by the UNDP and GEF. Okay, GEF means Global Environment Facility. Then Secure Himalaya in 4 Snow Leopard states. Okay, Secure Himalaya projects is there in only these 4. Okay, not in Arunachal, but the range is in everywhere. Now, Global Snow Leopard and Ecosystem Protection. Okay, this GSLP program is there, which is an intergovernmental alliance of all the 12 snow leopard range countries. So, which are the countries? India, Nepal, Bhutan, China. Okay, this, you know, nearby. India, Nepal, Bhutan, China. Then Mongolia, Russia. This is all like in one line in the map if you see. Then Pakistan is there. Afghanistan is also nearby. Then the Central Asian countries. Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan. Okay. I think one of them is missing, so try to find out which is that. Okay, I think Turkmenistan is not there. Okay, so remaining all are there. Then the 4th steering committee meeting in 2019, it was held under this Environment Ministry, and the chair that time was Nepal and Kyrgyzstan. Okay, so try like this, relate things and study. It is very easy. So some National Leopard Survey also for the first time was happened in 2019 in India. Now, Industrial Dispute Act is also once UPSC asked. The government may constitute 1 or more industrial tribunals for the adjudication of industrial dispute relating to matters such as what? Okay, so why, how, for what you can put tribunals? Contribution paid or payable by the employer to any provident or pension fund, leave with wages and holidays, introduction of new rules. So this all looks very like basic and it can be there. So it's actually, I think all are true. Okay, seeing the answer. Yeah, all are true. So this full points A to J, this one you can by heart. The highlighted red color are the ones I picked in the question. Okay, so you can set up tribunals for all these things: hours of work interval, compensatory and allowances, then alteration or discontinuance, classification by grades, withdrawal of any customary concession, standardization, improvement of plant or techniques. For everything you can put a tribunal if needed. Again, more points here. One more is there. And here a legal history of industrial dispute. So if you see Bengal regulation, something 1819 is there. 1859, this Merchant Shipping Act is there. Contract Act is there. These are all the history. Okay, different act which was there in British India. Then Indian Trade Union Act, this also UPSC have asked you already. So here again, it guaranteed the workers the right to organize and gave them a legal status and immunized them from civil and criminal liability. Then amended several times. Then Trade Dispute Act 1929 was codified for 5 years as an experimental measure. Main objective of the act was to make provisions for establishment of courts of inquiry and board of conciliation with the view to investigate and settle trade dispute. Okay, so this was the main objective. You have to establish some courts of inquiry. Then it prohibited strikes. This is the UPSC statement, I think. It prohibited strikes or lockouts without notice in public utility service. It also made any strike or lockout illegal which had any object other than the furtherance of a trade dispute. So the UPSC statement was something like it allowed the people to strike, but actually it is wrong. It is prohibiting the strike. Okay, amended in 1932 and was made permanent by this Trade Dispute Extending Act 1934. So like this, if UPSC have asked you, you ideally, if you are a serious aspirant, should know. This again, UPSC asked it: first mass extinction, second mass extinction, third mass extinction. Okay, what is the causes for it? So here, if you see detailed notes, I'll show you all are true. And here, if you see, it's predicted that more pandemics will come. Okay, if we keep destroying our habitat and don't change our consumption methods and all. So here, if you see, decline in plant production can happen, lower resistance to all this thing, drought and all, then ecosystem changes. All this will happen, okay, if you don't take measures. So mass extinction refers to a substantial increase in the degree of extinction, or when the Earth loses more than 3/4 of its species in a geologically short period of time. In a small period of time, 3/4 of the things are getting extinct means you are under extinction. So first mass extinction, okay, around this timeline, 86% loss. Then severe ice age happened, okay. Then second one here, 75% species lost. Here third, 96%. So here I've underlined what are the reasons. Okay, here it is algal bloom. Here it is blasted carbon dioxide into atmosphere. Here this Triassic. Okay, I think dinosaurs and all gone that time. So 80% species lost. No clear causes is there. Then fifth mass extinction, if you see, volcano activity and climate change. Then here ongoing, sixth mass, that is Anthropocene. Okay, you have anthropology optional on. That is something which is caused by humans. Okay, related to humans means Anthropocene. Okay, human caused and immediate than climate destruction. So since 1800s it's happening, many analysis happening. So these are all the new one in which we are living now. Okay, it's an Indian Express article from which this entire thing is taken. So you can blindly by heart it will be all correct only. Okay. Which of the following are true about National Skill Development Corporation? It was set up by the Ministry of Skill Development under PM Kaushal Vikas Yojana. This is wrong because it is long back set up by Ministry of Finance. Okay, Skill Development Ministry came now only. So this is wrong. It is a statutory body with majority shareholding under Government of India. That's also wrong. Okay, because 51% with the private sector. So if you see here, 49% with NSDC and private sector has the balance of 51%. Then it is set up by Ministry of Finance long back actually. So here it is this one. NSDC is a not-for-profit public limited company incorporated on July 31, 2008 under Section 28 of Companies Act. It aims to promote skill development, large quality vocational institutes, mandate and support all the people, information systems, trainer academies, everything related to skill development. Okay, these are all not things which you will struggle in the exam hall, but this ministry and this share capital is important. That's why the question is formed. Okay, so it is neither one nor two because both of them are wrong. Okay, this is a lot of detailed explanation I have given about Kaushal Vikas Yojana. It's a flagship scheme of Ministry of Skill Development. 2015 it came, extended till 2020. Objective is to enable a large number of Indian youth to take up industry relevant skill training. Okay, and if you see this prior learning experience, this is the UPSC question. Okay, in 2018 I think or 17 I think, like recognition of prior learning RPL component of the scheme. Okay, so what is that? Commonly known as RPL, largely refers to an assessment process used to evaluate a person's existing skill, meaning they are not giving you any training, they are not giving you any skill development, but your existing, okay, prior learning recognition, it is recognized and then you will be taken or given job. Okay, and it is by formal, non-formal or informal learning, anything it can be. This is exactly the UPSC statement. Okay, so many people thought like informal and all non-formal won't come, but it is there. Okay, then it aims to align the competencies of the unregulated workforce of the country to the standardized national skill qualification framework. Okay, so to make them in par with this, they'll be taken. Example, construction workers, you will have all the skill, you don't have to undergo any big process for that. Okay, so that is the type of people who is recognized by prior learning. Okay, again here full things are there about RPL, what all clauses given by the government. Okay, so every successful certified candidate is receiving 500 rupees. Then exposure to concept of digital and financial literacy, receives accidental insurance coverage. So all these things will be covered under that Kaushal Vikas Yojana under the RPL clause. Okay. Then, okay, remember this you pause and see, okay, because every statement looks important. So you have to pause and see. So this is the eligibility criteria for that. Minimum age and you should have Aadhaar card and you should have this thing screening process that you pause and see. Natya Shastra, from which most Indian classical dances are inspired, was authored by. This is again very interesting question. It is actually Bharata. Okay, a Muni was there, a sage, Bharata Muni. Okay, so here it's given, sage Bharata Muni. So around 200 BC. Okay, it's a very like rough timeline they have given. Estimates 800 BC, 500 CE. And all the musical things are taken from there only. Text further inspired secondary literature such as the Abhinava Bharati. Okay, so Natya Shastra is there, then it inspired Abhinava Bharati, example of classic Sanskrit Bhashya written by the 10th century. Okay, by Abhinav Gupta. Abhinav Gupta wrote Abhinava Bharati. It is inspired from Natya Shastra written by Bharata Muni. Now MSP. UPSC is again favorite topic. So this is a very easy question because I told you in many episodes that beverages and fruits, vegetables will not come under MSP. So T you eliminate. So eliminate. eliminate. 6 eliminate. Answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So if you did not know all these also, you know that tea is not there. This is exactly what UPSC will ask. UPSC asked in 2019 and one of the options was coffee. You eliminate coffee and you get the answer. Okay. Or they'll give you some fruit or vegetable. You can eliminate that, you will get the answer. Okay. Remaining all these things are there and it's there in UPSC's, government's website. This is CACP. The Commission of Agriculture Cost and Prices. They are the latest list with the prices allotted to them in each season. Everything is mentioned in this link. Okay, so please have a glance through it. Then you will know that all these things are there. Okay. Which of the following Indian classical dances are related to these personalities? Odissi, Jayadeva, and Satriya, Shankardeva. So these both are true. Okay. Jayadeva, a book is there, Gita Govinda something, Gita Govinda. So from that only this Vishnu's avatar and all these things, stories are there. That is the main theme also of Odissi dance, which is in Odisha. So it is mentioned in the oldest Sanskrit text, Natya Shastra, as Audra Magdi. Okay, like this it is mentioned in Natya Shastra. We find many sculptures and dance position inside the Jagannatha temple, which is again in Orissa. Then this Maharis, that is Devadasis or temple girls, and Gotipua performed by boys. So boys and girls both are performing this. Okay, Maharis and Gotipua. Then soft dance backed by soothing lyrics, similar to Bharatanatyam in terms of mudras and expressions. Combination of Lasya and Tandav, meaning the feminine thing and the masculine men-related thing. That type of gestures and expressions and all these things will be there. And then termed as mobile sculpture, it incorporates two major postures. Okay, one is this Tribhanga, which UPSC asked in the 90s. The body is deflected at the neck, torso, and the knees. Okay, so three bend kind of thing. Okay, Tribhanga. And then South Indian as well as North Indian music is used for this dance. Then traditional dhoti, sari with white flowers, gungru. These are all taken from your CCRT website, okay, which UPSC will definitely ask from there only. Then these are the different stages. Mangala Charan is there, worshipping the Lord Jagannatha. Pushpanjali is offering of flowers. Battu Nritya, that is a fast dance or Nritta. Then Sonal Mansingh and Kelu Charan are the performers. That is not very important for UPSC exam. SSC exam people can by heart. But other things all are important about Odissi dance. This is Satriya, 15th century AD by Vaishnava saint and reformer of Assam. Okay, Shankardeva. As a medium of propagation of Vaishnava. So both are Vishnu related. Okay. Then association with the Satras, that is the Vaishnava Matha or the monastery. And then Namgar is a term associated with this, that is dance community hall. Conventionally, it was only performed by this Bokots or monks. Okay. So the other place you saw Maharis and Gotipuas. Here you are seeing Bokots and monks. Okay. In their daily ritual and all, they used to practice this. Then themes performed are mostly on Radha Krishna. Okay, there it was like any incarnation of Vishnu. Here it is Radha Krishna. Then Borgeet music of Shankardev and Mahadev. So these are the terms you have to study. Okay, Borgeet music is Shankardeva, Satriya. Then instruments, this khol, two-faced asymmetrical drum, cymbals. Okay, this actually UPSC asked once. Okay, like cymbal is the only instrument used in Satriya, something like that. So it is wrong because all these instruments are used. Then governed by strictly laid principles in respect of Hastamudras, footworks, Aharyas, music, etc. Integrated two styles. Okay, as I told, masculine is there and the Lasya is also there. Okay, so terms, this Paurashik Bhangi and Stri Bhangi. Okay, this tradition has two distinctly separate streams. The Bhavana related repertoire starting from the Gayan Bayanar Nach to the Kharmanar Nach. Okay, so these are you can tell separate streams or phases. Okay, and then this Chali. So this, as I told, it can be very difficult if they plan to ask you these kind of terms related to dances. But UPSC, as I have noticed, they will ask you very easy questions. Maybe this music they'll ask, or maybe personality they'll ask, or Namgar, the very, very famous one or two keywords. But the dance, each phase, whatever terms they have, it's very difficult to answer. Okay, but still go through it once so that if it comes, you will get 2 marks, but your other person will not get, the co-aspirant will not get, and you have to just be one question ahead of him and you will clear the exam. Okay, so that were the questions today. I hope it was very enriching because too many questions I discussed today. That's why it's lengthy also. It's actually questions are 25 only, but the explanations were more detailing. Each question had subclauses, but this is all going to add up and you are going to prelims definitely this year or the next year if you continuously follow Vaishayas. Okay, that's our guarantee to you. You just have to study thoroughly with total dedication. Okay, so I'll come up with the next video. Please subscribe because without your subscription, we cannot sustain. Okay, it's completely done for free. I'll come up with the next episode. Thank you and have a nice day.